All right, everyone. Mike B here with a garden video, my first ever. I've had a lot of conversations about gardening and stuff. I happen to enjoy the hell out of it. So I'm gonna do random garden updates this year as time goes on. So right now it is May, whatever the heck, middle of May 2021, and sorry about the wind. It's really windy out today. We've got some rain coming, which obviously you can tell from the ground we need it. I haven't been able to weed this particular stuff, which is garlic, which I'll show you how much I've got planted. You have to plant garlic in the fall for the best results, or for it to grow at all. And it's growing fairly well, but it's just been a little bit dry, and it really sucks to weed when the soil is completely dry and cracking like this. So after it rains, I'm going to come out here and do some weeding. It's not, if there wasn't going to be rain in the forecast for the next week or so, I probably would come down and water these. But if I don't have to run the well pump, I probably won't. So anyway, got on the end right here, planted this last fall. Got a bunch of garlic that's coming up really nicely. It is a little bit dry, but it's still growing every day. And if we don't get as much rain as I want or expect tonight, I'm just gonna have to come out here and water it so they have water, and then I'll be weeding it. And right here underneath, we see that little rock pile from about there on down. Again, sorry about the wind. I know it's going to be bad in the video, but it's going to be a good day, and I kind of wanted to get this little series going. And so right here, I a few weeks ago planted a bunch of asparagus roots. So that'll take a few years before it starts really giving us a lot of asparagus, but then it starts spreading, and you can just add roots to this little trench. So it is a perennial thing, so it'll come up every year in the same spot. So that's why I planted it on the edge of the garden. It's on the north edge, so it gets a lot of light and stuff like that, yet it's still out of the way. And so that's about a 7-foot trench right now. You can't really see much. When it starts coming up, I'll be able to show you. I just want to show you guys the progress of what a garden looks like right when you plant it, and then when it starts growing, and et cetera, et cetera. So we'll move on to right over here. This is also on the it's gonna be on the northeast, or no, I'm sorry, the northwest corner, because it's gonna be a tall plant. I've got, you can see the one row right there. I've got 4 rows of corn, sweet corn, the Bantam Sweet, which is the best stuff for heirloom corn I can come up with. It's so delicious. It's great for canning or making corn on the cob. So I got 4 rows of about 20 plants each. I'll probably be saving about 10 plants worth of seeds so I can plant them next year, and then using the rest to either can or eat fresh, which I can't wait for that. That's gonna be so good. And then here you can't really see, you can see a couple of hills, but I actually, what's really interesting is if you haven't been gardening ever, you can get potatoes from pretty much any farmer's market or anything like that, and cut them into chunks, throw them on the ground, and they'll probably grow. Sorry, oh, that's a bad wind gust. They'll probably grow. So I ended up taking 3 really large-sized yellow potatoes, because I use those the most. They're very versatile, and they're my personal favorite. They're very easy to work with. And so I've got 12 hills of those planted here. You'll see those when they come up too. That's going to be really interesting. That goes over to about here. And yeah, you can see like where I'm pointing and stuff. There's little mounds. I know it just looks like dirt right now, but I'm really excited about this. So the middle part has nothing in it yet. This is where all the hot weather crops are going to go, where it's still a little bit too cold and dicey. There could be another frost. I don't want to put them out here and have them all die, because I had to start them from seed, and that was a lot of friggin' work. So those will go in probably in a week or 2, and this will be all tomatoes and some peppers. I'm going to grow a lot of jalapenos so I can pickle them. I love pickled jalapenos. And then over where I was standing, kind of on the other side, over here on the border, I'm going to have some root vegetables like some carrots and some turnips, just for the fall stews. Those are really good. And then I'm going to plant probably 1 or 2 cabbage plants here, and a couple broccoli plants. Probably plant some broccoli seeds so I get them at different times. I already have the seedlings started, but it'd be kind of cool to have them spaced out, because broccoli, once you start harvesting, it doesn't really grow that much anymore. It doesn't keep producing. And then along here, you want to plant this along the, or I planted it along the tall grass that I don't mow. I've got a, you can see this little, oh, that's the part that I didn't plant because I ran out of seeds. So I've got about a, let's see, how far is this? Probably about a 20-foot, 15 or 20-foot trench of dill. Now, if you're wondering why I have so much dill, A, it's really good in not just pickles, but it's good in other stuff dried. It adds a lot of flavor to different sauces, like yogurt sauces and stuff like that, tzatziki sauce. Really good stuff. Dill is very versatile. And I planted it over there because it is also a semi-perennial thing, where the seeds will fall and they'll stay there over the winter, and then they'll come up in the spring again in the summer. So that's why I planted them at the edge of the garden, so they're not right in the middle, and so we can get around it, and it's also going to spread that way into the long grass instead of taking over the rest of the garden. So that's kind of the plan with that. Now, you see these little gopher looking mounds, right? Here, let's take a step back. I'll take a step back, not facing the wind. So we've got 14 mounds of 2 different types of pickling pickles. Now these are not slicing, or pickling pickles, pickling cucumbers. These are not the slicing cucumbers that you get at the store. They're a little bit different. They're a little bit harder, and they're made specifically, they're the best for pickling. They're made to be picked rather small. And so that's why I planted 14 hills. That might sound like a lot because there's gonna be a lot of production on these plants and these vines. Each mound has got 4 to 6, some of them 8 seeds, but they were smaller and didn't look as good. So each hill has like, you're gonna have 6 to 8 plants per hill. And I planted them down here because they're going to vine off into the lawn, which I don't care about how my grass looks really. I'm going to have it, because they grow towards the sun, and that's going to be the south side of the garden. So the vines are actually going to go that way, so they won't be choking out any of the other plants that are going to be in the garden going this way. So that's kind of why I positioned these the way I did, and I think it's going to work well. Now, the reason I have so many pickling cucumbers this year is because I'm going to master a couple different kinds of pickles this year. Pickles are one of my favorite snacks all year round. I love dill pickles, kosher dill pickles. Got the garlic down there, the fresh garlic and the fresh dill that's going to be going into kosher dill pickles. I want to try to learn how to make gherkins and cornichons, the really tiny, really strong but delicious French pickles. So that's the plan this year, is I'm going to master a couple of those. That's why I have 14 hills, is because you want to pick them. I'm going to be, ideally, when they're at their peak, I'll be pickling at least once every other day, at least. It'll probably be every day for a little while, because all of these plants were planted at the same time, and they're going to ripen at the same time. But you only want pickles, well, I only want pickles that are going to be about, 2 to 4, maybe 5 inches long and not very big, so they're really crunchy when you pickle them and put them in the fridge. They're going to be really crunchy, they're going to taste amazing, they're going to retain a lot of that good flavor, and they're going to be great for a snack, because big pickles are fine, but they get soft and mushy, and they're not exactly my favorite, because most of the time they're not crunchy. I'm a big fan of crunchy pickles. I know I've been ranting about pickles and cucumbers for over like 4 minutes now, but that's why I have so many. So yeah, the rest of this is going to be, the root vegetables are going to go on the edge right here, and then the tomatoes, the hot weather crops, and the cabbage and stuff is just going to go in the middle. That's going to take up the most sunlight, and I want the most space in between all the rows so I can walk in between them and be able to weed. So this is what the garden looks like right now. This is the beginning stage. Nothing is up yet except the garlic, because that was planted last fall. So that's all I've got for this first garden video. Let me know what you think about staring at dirt mounds and dirt for the, what was this, 8 minutes now? And I'll try to do garden updates periodically if everything goes right. Hopefully I don't fail this year, because that'd be really embarrassing, and that would really suck for all the work that I put into it so far. But it's very satisfying. If you don't garden, you don't know how to, I definitely encourage you to learn how if you have the ability to. It's very satisfying, and you don't necessarily have to know how to can food in order to garden, but just having fresh vegetables is so much different than in the store. I hate vegetables for the most part, but I love fresh vegetables that I get from the garden. I don't know why they taste different. Maybe it's a mental thing, it's a placebo effect, etc., etc. But I'll stop rambling now. I know some of you guys like it, some of you guys are like, shut up! But anyway, that's the beginning of my garden this year. So thanks for watching, everybody, and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you garden too, let me know what you're planting. If you got anything planted, where you're from and everything. And I'm in a really bad growing zone, so we have to start our hot weather crops in March, and we can't plant them until June. But anyway, God, I got to stop rambling. But yeah, I'm just so excited about this, guys. This is going to be really cool. So thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next garden update video. Just kidding, the video is actually not over. I'm sorry I'm rambling again, guys, but this is something that I forgot to mention that I'm extremely happy with and finally was able to do this year. I have got fruit trees. So this is going to be a pear tree. That's a patent pear. This is going to be called a luscious pear, and they've all got really nice leaves on them. You can see that, and I just planted these a couple weekends ago, which is really cool. And this is a cherry tree, which is going to be fantastic. Cherries are one of my favorite fruits for, oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Really, you're just going to pee on my tree? God, why do you do this? Go away. And then, so here's another cherry tree. I forgot what kind they were. The ones, a sweet cherry pie cherry tree, and then something else. And then this is a plum tree. I forgot what kind this is. I know what, I have all the tags and everything, but it's going to be so delicious. Oh, that's the Toka plum, and then this is the, I can't remember what it is. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, anyway, you got this nice fruit tree. And then you got, these are all apple trees. So right here we've got the honey gold, which is kind of like variation of the Golden Delicious, which is my favorite eating apple. It's a little bit more hardy because I think it's in the Honeycrisp family. This tree is a Kindercrisp, which is basically a Honeycrisp. It's a newer version of the Honeycrisp. They grow a lot more fruit, but they're smaller, so it's, you know, good. You know, Kindercrisp would be good for kids to eat an apple, and they don't have to choke down an entire one and waste half of it. So that's kind of a cool thing. You can also just use those as Honeycrisps. That's exactly what they are, and Honeycrisp is what this is. Honeycrisp is my favorite variation of apple. It is so versatile. It's delicious to eat. You can make a lot of stuff with it. You can can it. You can use it for apple pie filling, apple crisp, you name it. It's extremely versatile. So anyway, those are my fruit trees.